Welcome back to my channel, guys. I'm Maryam. In today's video, I am doing a get ready with me life update type of makeup tutorial on this look. I am pretty excited. I'm also a little bit nervous. I have a lot to share with you. I have something that I want to get off my chest before we move on to our regularly scheduled programming. But if you're here for the makeup, don't you worry. I will take you through all the steps and I will show you all the products that I used, and they'll also be linked below. Please remember to subscribe, comment down below, leave me a thumbs up, and let's get to this. Because you need wine to do a life update video. I'm just gonna jump right into this. I'm gonna start off with this Flower Beauty primer stick. It's dual-ended, and I'm just gonna use the primer end. Let's start with the positive. Most of you guys have probably noticed that I've been just a little bit MIA on YouTube. That's actually because we've been gone. We were away in London with PIXI, and then we were away in France with Benefit. If you've been following me for a long time, then you know I used to live in France, so Paris is my #1 favorite place in the entire universe. I love it so much. I am gonna apply this Beauty Blender foundation. If you haven't seen my review on this foundation, then I will link it up here for you guys so you can check it out using shade 350, applying it to the center of my face, beating it in with this Beauty Blender sponge. And this is the foundation that I was actually traveling with, so this is the only foundation that I was wearing in London and also in France. And these two trips were absolutely amazing. London with PIXI and then France with Benefit. It couldn't come at a more fitting time in my life, because right before we left on the London with PIXI trip, I heard some really terrible news about a friend of mine. Whew, okay. Told myself I have to get this off my chest before I can actually produce happy, positive content for you guys. It's really difficult to talk about this because it's still very raw, and you can see my eyes are getting watery. Before we left on the London trip, I heard some terrible news about a dear family friend of mine who is kind of like my little sister. I heard that she was hit by a car on a highway. The car was going full speed and my friend ended up in a coma. She was basically fighting for her life. And this is a girl that I've known since she was about 8 or 9 years old. Her 22nd birthday was just a couple of weeks ago, so she's very young. She had probably one of the toughest lives of anyone I know. She lost her mom before she was 10 years old, and she became sort of the head of household, taking care of her little brother and taking care of her family at the age of 10. And she was honestly just an inspiration. She was really just so strong and so positive, and she was able to handle monumental things that people like myself and Lee and my dad, you know, who knew her well, we weren't able to handle some of the things that she was able to tackle. Whenever I drink wine, certain types of wine, this happens. I get these like red, rashy patches all over my body. It's kind of like blushing. You know, you feel something inside and then it manifests on the outside. We're just gonna go ahead and cover that up with this Beauty Blender foundation. Anyway, where was I? So the day before I left to London, I posted my friend Medina's GoFundMe that her little brother had started for her. I was so surprised and just so moved by the amount of comments and by the amount of people that have actually reached out and donated, let alone leave comments and prayers and just positive thoughts. I was so pleasantly surprised to see that the founder of PIXI, Petra, has donated a really generous amount to the fund. Maureen from TARTE did the same thing, which is so touching and so unbelievable. I almost can't speak about it. Huge thanks to everyone who has reached out. I mean, I can't tell you how many people. My friend Tenny Panosian, Benefit Cosmetics, just so many people. Look at me, I'm using a different color foundation for my contour. So needless to say, while I was on the trip in London, I wasn't exactly myself. Every day, I was checking my phone, I was texting with my dad, asking him for updates on Medina, my friend, and you know, it was just up in the air. No one really knew what was going on until one really awesome night in London. We were with PIXI, we were out celebrating, we were either at a salsa bar or at karaoke, but point is we were having a lot of fun. In that moment, I got the terrible news that my friend had passed, that she had lost her battle. I literally just had to put on a happy face, even though I was dying inside. Still very hard for me to talk about it. I just had to take that moment and think about life and think about all the people who are in my life whom I am thankful for, like Lee, like my parents, like my brother and sister, like my dad. So throughout the trip, even though I had an amazing time, even though I was with my friends and, you know, making new friends and making new memories, I wasn't exactly myself. I was just fighting constantly. You know, I would cry every morning, I would cry every night. Sometimes I would cry in the middle of the day and I would talk with Lee and he would console me, and you know, he was having his moments too. It was difficult for both of us. I think I've just about pounded my face with enough foundation. Whew. So I'm gonna apply this Tarte concealer, my beloved Shape Tape. Not even sure why I'm applying this much product. Who cares? I'm gonna blend it out. By the time our London trip was over and the moment has come for us to go to Paris, suddenly my heart was once again filled with a little bit of excitement. I hadn't been to Paris in a long time, and as I've said it before and I'll say it again, it's my favorite place in the world. I have so many awesome friends there and I have just so many memories. The moment we landed in Paris, it was like my pain was taken away. It was kind of like I saw a different part of me, as if a different personality kicked in, and I was once again this vibrant, positive, bright-eyed little girl that I know myself to be. I don't know, my whole heart was just filled with light once again. All right, time to set this face. I'm gonna use this Hourglass veil because I've been loving it. For the perimeter of my face, I'm gonna use my Charlotte Tilbury powder, which has hit pan once again, and this is probably my third compact. I'm gonna use this Tarte brush, which is my favorite for all over powder. It looks like a little magic wand. All right, it's coming through, sorta. All right, so going back to my story, next was the benefit trip in Paris. During the first part of the benefit trip, we stayed in Paris and we stayed in the most amazing, unique looking hotel. The whole theme of the hotel was very whimsical, kind of mysterious, a little kitschy, but it was cool kitschy. Everybody's rooms were very different and like very over the top. During this trip, Benefit launched this amazing new product, Brow Contour Pro, which is what I'm gonna be using right now. And it's a cool little pen. So it's actually 4 products in one: a brow shade, a darker brow shade, a lighter shade for defining, and also highlighter shades. I'm gonna start with the lighter brow shades. This pencil is really, really soft, and it's also super pigmented, much more pigmented than even their Goof Proof pencil, which I think is pretty damn pigmented. I'm gonna gently outline the bottom portion of my eyebrow. I'm gonna fill it in, extend that brow. I'm using the shade Brown Medium, and by medium, I believe they're talking about a medium skin tone. And I will say, as soon as this product was revealed to us, it quickly became my new favorite Benefit brow product. It's so unique, it's 4 products in one, it's really easy to use, and it's just cool. Who wouldn't want to fill in their brows with a brow pen? Next, I'm gonna use a spoolie and just brush out my brows and blend that product into the width of my brow. Not gonna give you guys a full tutorial because I do have a current brow routine that I will link up here for you guys. Now I'm gonna take the darker brown and I'm just gonna add it right here in the tail to define it a little bit and add some brow strokes throughout the width of the brow. And then I'm gonna take the definer shade, which is a flesh tone shade. I am going to outline my brow shape underneath. Just gonna clean up that shape, give it some definition without looking too Instagrammy. I'm just gonna blend down that definer shade, make it a little bit less noticeable, even though I feel like it's a pretty good match with my skin tone. I am just gonna do started doing this. Kind of adds a little cartoony shape to my nose. I'm gonna blend that out real quick. I guess let's move on to the eyes. For the eyes, I'm gonna be using this new Zodiac palette by ColourPop and Kathleen Lights. It's a beautiful palette. I just got my hands on it and it's really pretty, so I want to utilize it. I'm gonna pick up this shade, Taurus. Did you know Lee is a Taurus? Yes, he is, honey. I think I'm a true Libra, like a classic Libra who loves balance, who loves beauty, who loves to be the mediator, who's a little conflict averse. A lover, not a fighter. That's me. Although that wasn't always the case. I was pretty feisty when I was younger. What about you guys? Are you into horoscopes at all? Do you believe the hype or do you not believe the hype? I'm kind of 50-50. I feel like I'm more into the personality type, like the Myers-Briggs test. I always go on this website called 16personalities.com. If you guys haven't heard of it, check it out. It's like an 8-minute test. Take the test, then let me know what you are. And then I also want you to guess my personality type. Take a wild guess. So speaking of friends and personality types and traveling, I had the best time in Paris with my friend Ilan, who I also haven't seen in about 5 or 6 years. We saw him and it's like no time had passed by. We just picked up exactly where we left off and we had such a great time. I miss him already. Maybe this is TMI. You know, I'm on social media and I was thinking, you just don't know the kind of effects that social media and all this new technology has on your inner well-being. Started seeing not a therapist, but a psychologist. And I'm just so thankful that I made that choice because it really has made my relationship with Lee better. It made us work together better, just made us better partners. But I haven't actually seen my psychologist since before my trip, so I feel like my next session with her is gonna be pretty epic. I might need to sign up for 2 sessions a week. I have a lot to share. And you know what? I'm sorry, it may sound a little taboo to talk about something like this. Maybe it's too personal, but you never know what a person is going through. You never know what can be helpful. And sometimes, especially in my line of work, we find ourselves so busy that we really forget to check on our mental health. And whatever you put in is exactly what reflects out. However you're feeling on the inside is going to show. I am basically just applying some darker eyeshadow. I'm applying Virgo to the V portion of this outer crease. And I'm just blending it out with this pencil brush. Next, I want to take a little bit of this purple shadow, the Sagittarius. I actually don't know too many Sagittariuses. Are they incompatible with Libras? I certainly hope not. But everyone I know, everyone in my life is either an Aquarius or a Scorpio or a Leo. I do love me some Leos. Those are some good friends. My brother and sister are Leos. Their birthday just passed. They're so cute. So I'm gonna add a little bit of this purple to this crease. I'm gonna blend this out just a bit. So now for the inner portion of the eye, I really, really want to utilize these new STILA Shimmer and Glow. They're so pretty. There's 6 new shades, and I really, really love this mermaid sort of green. So I am just going to apply it straight from the tube. I'm going to cut that crease, and I'm going to apply it all over the lid. This shade is called Vivid Jade, and I'm slightly obsessed. Oh yeah. Why do I suddenly look and feel elevated? That's actually precisely why I love makeup so much. It just dresses you up. It makes you feel ready to tackle the world. I know some people, especially real artists, think that makeup artistry is not real art. They say that it's a trade. And I hate that. But then again, I'm the kind of person that can find art in just about anything. So while this is drying, I'm gonna pick up a little bit of Pisces. I also know a lot of Pisces. My dad is a Pisces, a couple of my friends are Pisces, and I'm gonna plop this shadow right to the center, just for a bit of iridescence. That's really mermaidy. Next, I'm gonna take this shade, the Capricorn. Also don't know too many Capricorns. Need to get more Capricorns in my life. Whoa, that is pigmented, honey. I'm just gonna smoke this out a little bit. Kind of like there. And then I'm going to use a Supernova shadow in the shade Astrology. It's a really, really nice yellow gold. I'm going to plop that right to the inner corner. Then I'm going to take a little brush and just soften those edges a little bit. I feel like I want just a little in the brow arch. So much has actually been happening that I can't yet share. We've been working on some very exciting projects that will come to fruition very soon, and I'll be the first one to share with you guys, promise. We have some very, very exciting travels ahead of us. We're actually heading somewhere where I've always wanted to go, so I'm so excited. I actually do get just a little bit of bored when I'm at home for too long. I start missing seeing new places and taking in new information. I'm a homebody and I love being home. I love doing what I do, filming content and just sticking to a routine, sticking to a schedule. But when the chance comes for me to go see something new, a place that I've never been to before, I am the first to jump at that opportunity. Because I do love learning and growing. And I think that meeting new people, seeing new places, learning new cultures, new languages, taking yourself out of your comfort zone is probably the fastest and easiest and most enjoyable way to learn and to grow. I'm gonna line my waterline now. It's a brown pencil from Smashbox called Brewed. I think I want a wing. Maybe not like the biggest wing ever, just something that can hold this together a little bit. Right now, I'm using the BALM Cosmetics Schwing Liner. Oh yeah. All right, so I just applied my lashes. I'm wearing House of Lashes Iconic Lights, which are my favorite. They are looking rather good on this face. I also somewhat blended out that lip contour that I painted on earlier. And now I'm ready for some lips. I think for my lips today, I'm gonna be using this new lippy from Persona Cosmetics by Simply Sona. And this one is called OG in matte. Stripdown pencil by MAC. Ooh, it's kind of cute. Before I go, I also want to bronze up a little bit. I'm going to take this ELCIE Tan Bronzer with my Flower Beauty blush brush or contour brush. And I'm just going to bronze up my forehead. Oh, thank you guys for watching and for listening to me rant. This was actually very helpful for me. This was like a therapy session. It was something that I needed to kind of get off my chest. I'm talking about the part about my friend. I've been thinking about her so much that her image and her presence has just been living in the back of all of my thoughts. Believe me, every kind word that you say to me, every comment, every like, every term of endearment, every compliment, it means so much to me. And I hear you and I see you. I appreciate you. Just know that I'm here for you guys the way that you are for me. You know you can reach out to me via DMs, on Twitter. You know I like to respond back. And now to complete this look, on a happy note, I am gonna take out my new NATASHA DENONA Super Glow highlighter in this gorgeous shade called Bronze. It's actually very yellowy, which makes me extremely excited because you know, me and yellow, we mellow. I am gonna apply this right here. Woo! That's nice. Man, that NATASHA DENONA. That girl knows how to produce some bomb products. All right, and since I have the shoulders happening here, let's highlight the daylights out of them. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I love how this highlighter kind of reminds me of the Fenty Beauty Trophy Wife highlighter, except this one is just a lot more wearable. Now I'm gonna pick up this one, light medium. Add just a pinch on top, boom, boom. And there you go. This is my final look, my final get ready with me life update makeup tutorial, if I could even call it that. Thank you guys again for watching and for subscribing and for being kind and for being loving and for being awesome. Cheers to you. I love you guys so much and I will definitely see you in the next video and I promise you I'll be back in better spirits. I love you guys. I'll see you very soon.